Folks, how's it going? You have questions about evictions, landlord-tenant issues, anything legal? I have the perfect person for you. I'm going to let him introduce himself. Sir, introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, my name is Chris Gottlieb. I'm a partner with Bora Goldstein. Primarily, I practice in Brooklyn, housing court.
Okay. And now we have a lot of people coming, a lot of stuff coming up basically when it comes to landlord-tenant issues and evictions. Our subject today is we're talking about legal requirements for sellers if they're possibly thinking about putting their house on the market and selling it. They have a couple of scenarios that come up. So we wanted to find out first. Let's find out how long you've been in the business.
11 years now I've been practicing landlord-tenant disputes in New York.
All right. So without further ado, let's just go into the first question. What are some essential legal obligations a seller should have for their tenants?
Well, he needs to um, assign his leases, security deposits, and rent arrears to the buyer. And that's a right. Those are several riders that would be present within the closing. And so you would want all the leases to be attached, along with the updated ledger for each tenant. And there would be also a note as to how much is in deposited for the security deposits, because they have to take over the security deposit as well. Then once the closing happens, you would need to send a notice of attornment, a mailing to each tenant, and also post that notice in the common areas of the building so that they know where to pay rent. So
Okay.
emails aren't good enough.
You
Yeah,
literally have to post something so it's visible for everybody to see as
yeah,
a tenant.
and then also mail it.
Okay. All right. Now, my next question is, how can a seller legally end a lease before selling?
Well, you can't, if it's a rent stabilized apartment, you can't end a lease without cause. If it's not rent stabilized, then you have to give notice of non-renewal, and you would send, depending upon how long the tenant is there, you'd send either a 30-day notice of non-renewal if they've been there for over a year but under 2 years, a 60-day notice of non-renewal, and if they've been there for over 2 years, a 90-day notice of non-renewal.
Okay.
You know,
So it really depends on how long the tenant was in the property.
yeah, it used to be 30 days that all you'd have to do. Now it's 30, 60, or 90, depending on how long. If they have a current lease, then you should you send it by a regular and certified mail, the notice of non-renewal. But if the lease has expired, then you should also serve it by service of process.
Okay. Now, for the sellers who are entertaining some offers from buyers, sometimes buyers ask questions, specific questions to the sellers. Should the sellers or can the sellers disclose anything, any kind of information regarding their tenants to the potential buyers?
Well, you can disclose the arrears if there's any pending litigation, the leases, right? But yeah, you need to. I would imagine that the closing contract would require such disclosure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's pretty much all I have question-wise, basically, for this. Is there anything that you want to add the seller should know? With if there's any other legal, I mean, you mentioned quite a few things. Is there anything else that we didn't
Mm-hmm.
discuss that you want to bring up?
Well, it's different situations arise. Um, you you may want to start a proceeding against someone for a notice of to not renew their tenancy if it's not rent stabilized, or if they owe money, and then you can start a proceeding for non-payment. But what you need to know if you're selling the property is that you can commence the case, and then by motion, the owner can step in. The new owner can step into the shoes of the seller by motion. So rather than having to wait before you sell, you should just start now, and then the seller can take over the case. And just make sure that you, in the documents of closing, you assign the debt to the buyer.
Okay.
Otherwise, you won't be able to. The new petitioner, the new person suing, the new landlord, would not be able to collect on the arrears that were owed to the seller.
Okay.
And what often happens is if there's someone in litigation, oftentimes an amount is put into escrow that is handed over to the buyer, depending upon how long it takes to get the tenant out. If it's a holdover, that could happen, because if it's a holdover, you might not receive any rent from that tenant as the buyer. So the contract of sale should disclose that and anticipate it.
So, Chris, if somebody's going through a sale, they're selling their property and they need to evict the tenants, how can they reach you?
212-965-2648 is my direct line. My cell, if they want to reach my cell, is 201-207-6744. Or they can email me at cgottlieb@boragoldstein.com.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned your office is in Brooklyn. You also have an office in the city as well?
Well, my office is actually in New York and in the city, just below Canal Street. My firm also has an office in Bronx and an office in Queens. We don't have an office in Brooklyn, so I commute a little bit. My practice is in Brooklyn.
Okay.
I'm like in Brooklyn court every day, but we handle all 5 boroughs. Yeah.
All right. So if somebody needs you, they can find you basically pretty much in any of the boroughs,
Yeah, it's pretty easy to find me.
except for Staten Island. We're not going to touch Staten Island.
We send some people there sometimes.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, are you on any social media? If anybody wants to find you on there, or is that something
No,
that, no?
I don't do TikTok anymore.
Anymore. Now I have to go look you up on TikTok. All right, so we're gonna end it right there. If you guys have any questions regarding landlord tenant evictions, you definitely got to call Chris, and he'll advise you the best he can. I'm Evantz Saint-Gerard, your real estate agent here in Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, Brooklyn. I said Brooklyn twice. In Long Island. So pretty much, I have to say Brooklyn twice because I'm from Brooklyn. So I'll say it 3 times. One more time, Brooklyn. So if you have any needs of selling, buying, or investing in real estate, give us a call. You can reach us at my cell phone, 917-975-5985. I'll give you the office line, 718-475-2760. Our website is mynyhomesales.com. Thank you for watching. We hope you get some good nuggets out of this. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave the comments down below, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
All right.